Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the news that is coming from Israel, where Israeli Prime Minister's office have said that Hamas has not agreed to the ceasefire deal, and at least it has not given a written, what you can say, agreement for this particular deal. Now, in this context, if you try to understand, just few days back, a news was coming that Hamas has agreed to the draft ceasefire agreement, and it is referring to the ongoing conflict that has been going in Gaza for almost 1.5 years now. However, Israeli Prime Minister has denied any such kind of agreement. It has categorically rejected. If we talk about the Prime Minister of Israel currently is Benjamin Netanyahu. So Netanyahu's office has categorically rejected and denied any development in this particular case. It has said that contrary to the reports that is being circulating in the media, the Hamas terror organization has not yet returned its response to the deal. So let us try to understand this in more detail, that what might be the problems that the Israel may face in the implementation of the deal or even in the signing the deal, and what might be the possible factors that is leading to Hamas putting a delay in the entire agreement. Now, first of all, talking about this entire geography, we know that this is a region in the Middle East, this is the Mediterranean Sea, and here we have the Israel. Now, as far as the Palestinian people are concerned, they are largely located in two pockets, one along the western coast of Israel, that is toward the Mediterranean Sea. It is a very narrow, small strip having a border with the other country, that is Egypt here. This is called as Gaza Strip, where most of Israel's territory attacks and strikes we have seen after the Hamas had entered the territory of Israel on the October 7th, 2023. Other large area where Palestinian people live is along the border of Israel and Jordan. We can see the region is referred as the West Bank. So this particular deal, if it is implemented, will be applicable over this particular Gaza Strip. Now, if you look at the deal itself, and before that, if we look at the Hamas, the organization which is largely in context or in this particular context is news. So Hamas basically began to take root in the Gaza Strip somewhere in the year 1987. It initially emerged as a resistance group which wanted to have a separate Palestine, a state of Palestine, and it was not shying away from the use of violence as opposed to other organizations which were largely aiming at having some kind of consultation, negotiation and all that to reach their agreement. Now, due to the failure of the earlier organizations such as Fatah, Hamas began to receive a huge support, especially from the youth population of Palestine, and because they began to believe that if Hamas indeed uses the violence, it might pressurize the state of Israel in granting a separate statehood to the state of Palestine. So basically, it was the prospect of Palestinian goal for independence which has driven the support for the Hamas, and over a period of last few decades, it has kept on growing bigger and bigger in the size, as well as has become more powerful group in the Gaza Strip today, receiving a lot of support. Now, if we talk about this particular ceasefire agreement, if it is signed in the future between Hamas and Israel, this is based on the framework that was presented by President Joe Biden of United States of America. And as per him, this deal and ceasefire agreement will take place in 3 stages. Now, if we talk about the first stage, it largely aims at withdrawal of the Israeli forces from all the populated areas of Gaza, including the northern Gaza. That is where we have the problem, because if you look at this particular area of the Gaza, this is referred as northern Gaza, and here you have a small corridor that is under the control of Israeli defense forces, and Israeli defense forces do not want to lose or cede their control over this corridor which controls the movement from and to the northern Gaza. So this might be one of the reasons why Hamas is also looking at how IDF will react to this particular proposal. Second is, it also has said that in the first stage, all the Israeli hostages that were taken after the October 7, 2023 attacks, they should be exchanged or they should be sent back to Israel in exchange for hundreds, and even some reports say even thousands of the Palestinian prisoners the Israel might have to let go. And especially in the first phase of hostage release, the focus will be on those hostages who are children's, women's, including female soldiers, and those men who are over 50 years of old, as well as those who are wounded and sick. So these are at the first priority of the hostage rescue. Now, once the first phase is successful, in the second phase itself, actually the deal has said that in the first phase itself, the negotiation for the second phase will take place. And in the second phase, the remaining 61 hostages that Israel claims Hamas still holds, Israel believes that all of these hostages are still alive. So including those hostages which are military age men would be released along with the bodies of those who might have died in the captivity of the Hamas. This is going to be the second stage if the agreement comes into place. The third phase is going to be largely focused on reconstruction, because by the second phase, if the ceasefire agreement indeed occurs, what will happen is that the Israeli defense forces would withdraw from most of the Gaza area. And then under the international supervision over a period of 3 to 5 years, a major reconstruction plan for Gaza would commence. And in this phase also, any final remains of the hostages who have been killed would be returned to the family. That means at the end of this entire phases, 3 phases, what would happen? First of all, what would happen is that all the hostages that Hamas has from the Israeli side would be returned. If they are dead, then their remains have to be returned. From the Israeli side, all the prisoners, that the number can be as high as thousands, they will have to be exchanged or sent back to the Palestine. Israeli defense forces would withdraw from the entire Gaza area completely, and the both parties will agree that they will not have any kind of, they will not launch any kind of attack toward each other. Now the problem that arises and what has led to Hamas taking its time in agreeing to any kind of deal is because of the lack of assurances from the Israeli side as it claims. For example, Hamas says that the hostages that the deal wants to get basically get free from the Hamas side, it will not free the remaining hostages without an end to the war and complete Israeli withdrawal, which Israel has not completely agreed. Second, Israel's military withdrawal from the Gaza Strip against the self-destruction of Hamas. That is the proposal of Israel. IDF would not withdraw from the Gaza Strip unless and until Hamas basically give away their political power, because today they are political powerful also in the Gaza Strip. Also, it says that Hamas would have to completely de-arm itself. Whatever military capacities it has, whatever arms, weapons, ammunitions it has, Hamas will have to give them also up completely. And second, you talk about the political capabilities, and also Hamas has to give assurances that it will not rearm itself in the future. So unless and until this is done, there is no guarantee of indefinite ceasefire by Israel. However, on the other hand, Hamas says that during the negotiation in the first phase itself, the Israel should guarantee that it will not launch any attack on Hamas unless and until the second phase negotiation and the agreement around it is completely reached. So these are the counter-intuitive points or counter-arguments both parties are giving to each other, and it is due to the disagreement over these points, overall we are seeing delay in the implementation of ceasefire deal. However, we have to wait and watch, because the President Donald Trump is going to take office on the 20th of January, and he already has given the warning that as soon as he comes into office, he will ensure that ceasefire agreement kicks in between the Israel and Hamas. So we'll have to wait and watch and see how entire situation unfolds in the next couple of weeks. But that is all for this particular video. I hope you got the idea of the entire Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement and the reason behind its delay. If you like the video, please ensure to hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you very much.